Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So nice to see you. Looks like you're at the synagogue.
Yes, I was going to say, it looks like you're in the synagogue, but...
What? Wait a second. What? I don't see you. Where are you? Hello? Can you see? Oh, the magic of the Zoom backgrounds. It's like we're home. Yay.
I know. It's pretty amazing, actually.
It's like clicking our heels with the red shoes. Do you have red shoes?
No, I do not have red shoes.
I do not have red shoes either. Okay. That was a good talk, I think. I feel like
so.
Maybe we should continue with the service. What do you think? Looks like we have like already 45 people joining us. So Shabbat Shalom to all of you.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
So happy that you're here and that you joined us virtually. God willing, soon we can be together in our sanctuary, but this is our sanctuary for the time being. We want to make sure that if you would like to have our virtual prayer book, very easy to get there. Go to cbiboca.org. That is our website for our synagogue. When you get there, you're gonna, at the top, it says worship. You're gonna hit Shabbat. And then when you hit Shabbat, right at the top of that page, you'll have two links. One link will actually provide you with the Kaddish list for tonight, if you'd like to see that. And the other is the virtual prayer book. All you have to do is press that link. It should take you right to the virtual prayer book. And then you have to balance two screens. The screen you're looking at, us, which is not that great. I mean, Ken and Mechnik, yeah, but maybe not me. And then you can use the other side of the screen if you want. If you bounce back and forth, you can join us on the virtual pages. Don't go by the locator number because it's a little confusing. Look at the actual page that looks like an actual page on the book. That's the page that we'll be on. Does that kind of make sense what I'm talking about? Yeah, if you can hear me out there, raise your hand. Great. Okay, good. Thank you for raising your hand. Thank you very much. Excellent. So we are going to continue. Do you want to do a little more Shalom Aleichem, or that was the musical Shalom Aleichem? Do you want to sing a little Shalom Aleichem?
Yeah, let's sing.
Let's sing a little Shalom Aleichem. We'll get into the Shabbat mode.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchani l'shalom Malachei Hashalom Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seitchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
That was very lovely. And it's nice that you brought that big piano from the synagogue home with you.
Yeah, it's the full grand.
Yeah, that must have been very, very heavy.
It was.
We're going to continue with the lighting of Shabbat candles. And since it's just us, we're going to be lighting some Shabbat candles because that seems like the thing we have to do right now. If you're following along in the prayer book and you have that prayer book and you found that prayer book, we are on page 2 and 3. If you'd like to follow along. As a congregant would come up or a B'nai Mitzvah family would come up, hypothetically on our bima, we're going to continue with that part right now. And I'm going to read as these Shabbat lights give light to all who behold them. So may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us, as their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light. So may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. I have some candles over here. See if you can see them. Okay, Kendra, I'll do the wafting, you do the singing. How's that?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner Shel Shabbat.
Amen. I'm
Amen.
going to move these over here just for a moment so that I don't burn my surroundings. Okay. And now I think we can continue with a little kiddush. So if you're following along, we're just turning one page, if you will, over to do our kiddush. That's on page 5.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu. V'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'ratzon hinchilanu. Zikaron lema'aseh bereishit, Tihyot techila lemikra'ei kodesh, Zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim. Kivanu b'charta v'otanu kitashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava u'ratzon inchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. Amen. Chaim.
Chaim.
Is that still
Yum.
your Passover wine?
Oh, no.
That's good.
Passover wine is done way over Passover wine.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Mine too.
Yeah, although the Passover wines have become better a little bit, I feel like over the years there are some decent Passover wines.
Not too bad.
They're fine. It's not as bad as that matzah. Oof, I don't know. I'm not a big matzah fan. I don't know. So speaking of Passover, during Passover we had all this opportunity for us to examine the Psalms and to really delve very deeply into the Psalms. And so Passover's over, but we still get to do that, and we get to dip into our Psalms with the actual, the final summation of the Psalms, the sort of greatest of the Psalms, if you will, which is Lecha Dodi. And if you want to follow along with us, hopefully you can find that prayer book virtually. I'll explain again because there are some people who were not on maybe when we first started. And that is, you can find the virtual prayer book on our website, cbiboca.org. Go there first. Once you go there, at the top of the page, it says worship. Hit worship. Then underneath the worship area, it says Shabbat. Hit Shabbat. When you get to Shabbat, it's going to take you to a page. At the top of the page, there are two probably important buttons for you. One, a button to press will give you the Kaddish list for tonight, and the other button will give you the virtual prayer book. So that will take you there. Once you're in the virtual prayer book, please make sure that you're following us on the actual page numbers at the bottom of the actual page and not the locator number, because they're not going to match up. I hope that made sense for the 76 of us that are doing this together right now. 76 trombones, isn't it? 76 trombones, isn't that how that song goes?
It is 76, yes.
Thank you. Okay, speaking of that, we're going to continue on page 20 with Lecha Dodi.
Shamor v'zachor b'diborecha, yishmi'anu el hamimcha. Adonai echad u'shemo echad, v'shemo tiferet v'litila. Lecha Dodi Bikrat Kala Ene Shabbat Nekabela. Likrat Shabbat Lechu Lenelcha Ki Mekor HaBeracha. מקדם נשוכה, סוף עשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, הנה שבת נקבלה.
We continue with the 9th verse. If you wish to stand,
לך דודי לקראת קלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, הנה שבת נקבלה.
we wave by to that beautiful section of Psalms that gets us really into the connection of Shabbat, for us to really feel the presence of Shabbat, to feel the presence of the bride of Shabbat that accompanies us for these 25 hours every single week, to heighten all of our experiences. The food tastes better, the rest feels more fulfilled, the wine is even sweeter. And so we get to celebrate all of that. And now, since we are within Kabbalat Shabbat, we're going to continue with our service and with the great divider that separates our service, which is Chatzi Kaddish. And if once again, if you're following along, that is on page 26.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברך ירתי ובניך מלכותי, בכל יום בכל לחיי תכל בית ישראל. בגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם לעולמי יתברך וישתבח ויתברך ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי לקדשה בריחו לילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תמירן בעולמה ויאמרו Amen.
We continue now with our call to worship with the Baruch Hu prayer. Once again, if you wish to stand, even though you might be in your own living room, please stand with us or remain seated. We're going to continue with the Baruch Hu. That is on page, again, if you're following along with the virtual prayer book, that can be found on our website. It's on page 28 if you would like to stand for the Baruch Hu.
Am I awake? Am prepared. Yada lai lai lai, 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 yada lai lai lai. Baruchu et Adonai, HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai, HaMevorach, Le'olam Va'ed, Le'olam Va'ed. La 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 la, 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 la la la.
We thank God for making nights, Ma'ariv Aravim. This is on page 31 if you'd like to follow along. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars, creator of the tide of time and light. You guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch Ata Adonai HaMa'ariv Aravim. We are going to continue now with a little Ahavat Olam, which is on page 32, if you're following along with us. The predecessor, if you will, was bringing love into the Shema. So get all those hearts pumping, feel all that love. We're going to continue with Ahava Rabbah, again, page 32, if you're following along with us. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. Wait, I can't hear you. I'm just kidding. All these things your Torah gives to us, and the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works, a living language that gives it form? Baruch Ata Adonai, Ohev Amo, Yisrael. Shema 34:35.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed.
We continue with V'ahavta. That is on page 36.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha mehayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha Vishinantam levanecha v'dibartam V'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha b'derech u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha mehayu letotafot b'neinecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'v'sharecha למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני, אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני, אדוני אלוהיכם.
We're going to continue in a moment with Micha Mocha, and Micha Mocha, of course, speaks of our redemption. If you actually look at the structure of how every single prayer service works, no matter when we're doing it, could be a morning service, an evening service, during a holiday, not in a holiday, they all follow the same structure, and that's the idea of creation, revelation, and redemption. The creation part talks about blessing day or night. Our revelation clearly is the our revelation obviously is the connection to God and the oneness of God and the Shema, and then the redemption is our Michamocha prayer, which we clearly felt the last week of Pesach, as we were freed from our slavery and reminded of how wonderful it is to be free. Even though we feel like we might be cooped up in our homes, we are quite free. Michamocha, if you'd like to continue with us in our virtual prayer book, and you have found that page and figured out all the mechanics of it, we're on page 40.
Who is like you? Who is like you? Who is like you? Adonai. Who is like you? Who is like you? Who is like you? Adonai. Ma'aputecha, Ra'umanecha, Bokei Hayam, Livnei Moshe u'Miriam, Zeili anu, anu ve'amru. Adonai Hiro, Le'olam va'ed. Who is like you? Adonai. Who is like you? Who is like you? Who is like you? Adonai.
More so than ever, we are seeking a canopy of safety and love to be over us at this time from God. We really hope that God can provide for us this safety net, if you will, not just for our health, but for not just for our health, but for the health of our entire community and for the entire globe. And so we have this prayer that asks God to protect us when we sleep, but it also is there to protect us and to feel God's presence in general. And so I hope that we can all find ways, even amidst of our claustrophobic spaces now, because we're all trapped in, but I hope that we can find the true sense and presence of God's canopy taking care of us now, particularly, and just in general, and particularly on the Shabbat. So if you'd like to join us, Hashkivenu in the prayer book is on page 42.
Ashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu L'Shalom Ve'hamidenu Shomreinu L'Chaim Ashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu L'Shalom Ve'hamidenu Shomreinu L'Chaim Ashmor Tzitzeinu Uvoeinu L'chaim u'shalom me'ata ve'ad olam Ashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu L'Shalom Ve'hamidenu Shomreinu L'Chaim Ashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu L'Shalom Ve'hamidenu Shomreinu L'Chaim
With that sense of peace and that sense of safety for all of us, we will take that with us and move into our connection to our forefathers and our foremothers with the Amidah. That begins on page 46. If you'd like to follow along with us, once again, if you wish to stand, this would be the time for us to stand for the Amidah.
Adonai, sechatai tiftachu fia ki tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol HaGibur HaNorah, El Elyon, Omer Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei HaKol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot Ve'imaho, Mipi Geula Livnei B'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava. Melech Chozer Mashiach Again. Baruch atah Adonai Magid Avraham Bezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Bechayecha Kol atah Rav Lehoshia Morid atah Im Bechesed Bechayecha Kol Berachamim Rabim Tzomech Noflim Berofei Cholim Umatir Asorim Umekayem Be'emunato B'shenei Afar Bichamocha Ba'gevurot Umidom Elach Melech Mimit Aye Umatzmiach Yeshua B'neman Atah Lechayot HaKol Baruch atah Adonai Mechayei HaKol Atah Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh V'Kedoshim B'chol Yom Ya'alu Selah Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh.
We continue silently now with our own prayers and meditations. If you're following along in the prayer book, we're continuing now from page 52 through page 62, and then please be seated. We're going to continue with the prayer for peace with Shalom Rav. If you would like to follow along with us in the prayer book, once again, that's on page 60 in our virtual prayer book.
That would not be Shalom Rav.
It was very pretty, though. It felt like a L'Shalom Alechem Shalom Rav, but it was very nice, though.
It was.
It was lovely.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Betot Torah Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Betzol beinecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. B'tov beinecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
That was a lovely Shalom Rav.
It was a version of Shalom Rav.
It was very nice. I liked it.
You're kind.
Yeah. You know, the trees behind you haven't moved at all.
It's a very light breeze this evening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, over here too.
Yours too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like your trees.
Thank you. Yeah, they're really not moving they're not moving a lot. So I would like to talk to everyone today about leftovers. Raise your hand if you usually have leftovers and or like to eat leftovers, anything to do with leftovers. Raise your hand. Let me see. All right. Oh, Kendra Muchnick. Oh, thanks. Anyone else? Oh, okay. Excellent. Nice. And so Passover was just here. And so I will tell you that at my house, we had, the food for the Seder. And then because my wife is an amazing cook, and she also, I think she cooked the same amount of food that she would have cooked if people were actually coming over to the house. So that also meant that we had a lot of food left over. So I had leftovers, which were fabulous. So there were so many great leftovers, and most of the leftovers go into this special container created in 1946 by a guy named Earl Tupper, right? So Tupper, say it with me, Tupperware. Excellent. Thank you very much. In 1946, he was in Massachusetts, and this is where he created it. And it was just plastic containers, right? But the whole thing was that he made that burping seal. That's what it's called. It's actually called that. It's patented. And so then there were all these knockoffs, but that's kind of where it comes from. That's where leftovers go. So speaking of leftovers and that kind of dishware, I want to talk to you about some other dishware. So first of all, there's something called Duralex. Have you heard of Duralex? I'm not familiar, but maybe you know what that is. Great. Also, Pyrex. I know Pyrex. Yes, I've heard of Pyrex. Crystal. I've heard of crystal, right? And then there are two others in a whole separate category, which I have heard of as well. One is called China. So that you talk about like eating on the good China, right? Like on the China. And then there's something called Corningware. Also, you're familiar with Corningware? Yeah, I'm familiar with Corning. Okay, so those are separate. Those are not the same, by the way, as like the Tupperware or the Duralex or the Pyrex or the Crystal. So the Corningware and the China are different. And here is why. Because they are not glass. So China and Corningware are called earthenware. And believe it or not, that's how we're going to connect the Torah portion tonight. Believe it or not, all the way to earthenware. So earthenware is in this week's Torah portion. It's called Shmini. Shmini is in the book of Leviticus. Shmini means 8 or 8th. It refers to the 8th and final day of the ordination for the high priest, Aaron and his sons. And it was supposed to be quite the glorious and fabulous celebration of their ordination for the priests. There's a little snafu in this process, which we're actually not going to talk about tonight, but we'll talk about tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. You're welcome to join us for Torah study. Will be available, the service and Torah study. We'll be talking about this sort of snafu that happens with the end of the ordination, but I want to talk to you about the earthenware, just like I mentioned. So Rabbi Silver spoke in his Shabbat message earlier about like kosher laws, and they're kind of connected because the earthenware and the kosher animals and the way that the kosher animals were handled go hand in hand, if you will. So, as you can probably presume, based on what Rabbi Silver's talked about, and whatever you know about Judaism, is that there are things that are pure and there are things that are impure. And I don't mean like dirty or clean. That's with soap. That's right now where everyone has to use soap all the time, constantly. Cantor, do you use soap?
Oh, nonstop. My hands are cracking.
Yeah. So much soap. I know. So, so it's not about the cleanliness that way. It's about a spiritual cleanliness and a ritual cleanliness. And that's where this comes from. So the section outlines pure things and impure things. And it talks about the vessel that it goes in and how it goes in that vessel, hence the earthenware that I was talking about. This actually, I'll read to you exactly what it says right from the Torah itself. And if any of these things we just talked about, all the animals, fall into an earthen vessel, everything inside shall be unclean, and the vessel itself shall be broken. So it differentiates for us between this particular vessel, and if something's in it, it goes into it, it's problematic. Now, not if it's around it or surrounding it or even like touching it as it enters, but in it, then it gets problematic. It's a little bit specific, but you'll see where I'm going with this. So it talks about things that are pure and impure, and it talks about this earthen bowl. Then, by the way, the commentary explains that a wood bowl or a wood utensil or a metal utensil is different. Why? I will tell you. Thank you for asking. I will tell you because it's interesting that the wood vessel and the metal vessel have value in themselves, meaning a wood vessel has value to it because it's wood, and a metal vessel has value to it because it's metal. But an earthen vessel doesn't necessarily have that much worth because it's literally from the earth. It's made from dust or dirt. So that's how the earthen vessels are made. They're made from those kind of materials. So they're different. So let me go on to distinguish that again. Even if the non-kosher thing touches the vessel, it becomes impure. Inside, not on the perimeter, but inside. And here is this interesting connection that I think connects to these vessels, and that is this. On one hand, you have this vessel made of earthenware, whose makeup is nothing but earth, essentially. And its value is according to what's in it, right? So the value is literally just the content, not the vessel itself, as opposed to the wood or the metal, if that makes sense. So the outside of the vessel by itself has no intrinsic value about this earthen vessel. But now here's the cool part. Everyone that's on this Zoom call and all of humanity, if you will, we are all made from the earth. It says so in the Torah. When God creates us, it says, God says, formed humanity out of the dust of the earth. And then God blew into our nostrils and gave us our soul. And that is how we came to be. So we are essentially earthen vessels. Each and every one of us is one of those. And so the Ethics of Our Fathers, the Mishnah, takes it another level, and they say, if you think about it this way, remember, the wooden has value and the metal has value, but the earthen vessel is about the contents. It's not about the vessel itself. It's about what's inside. So therefore, we must remember that what our worth is, us, has nothing to do with our exterior. It has to do with our inner contents, just like that earthen vessel. That which is relevant to the inner self and to the soul, that's the stuff that we're made of, and that's the stuff that we need to focus on. The stuff that's inside, not the external contents. Our insides are what matter the most. That's our core being. When our insides are strong, then we're strong. And so if not, then we're a mess. But if our core is strong, whatever the swirling is happening outside, we got it. And so clearly, we have some swirling happening around us. But as long as our cores are tight and we understand that our internal vessels are strong, then we can be strong. In this situation that we're all facing right now, clearly, and in general, in any situation, as long as our center is centered within that earthen vessel, then we are good. And so I wish all of us a wonderful, peaceful, and obviously nice Shabbat, clearly, peaceful, safe Shabbat, but a Shabbat where we're really reflecting on our insides, on how we're doing, on where our strength is coming from, where we are the holy vessels. And so I hope for every one of us a peaceful Shabbat, for us to explore that and to explore our inner core and our inner strength. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We're going to transition now to our thoughts of healing, for our thoughts of Mishaberach. If you'd like to follow along with us, by the way, on Mishaberach, from the page number is on page 253, if you'd like to follow along, 253. I'm going to share some names that we're going to read for the congregation. But if there's a name that you'd like to add, we unfortunately don't have a way for us to share that together, hearing it, but please share it in the text below for everyone to see and for us to see as well, if there's a name that you are sharing for someone who is in need of physical, emotional, or spiritual healing. We think of, in our Mishaberach list, Lori Kestacher, Deborah Benson, Alvin Yarkin, Charlotte Kammer, Richard Levine, Nicole McKevitt, Michelle Kingen, Karen Silver, Sheila Butler, Carol Porwich, Michelle Orvard, Elliot Porwich, Michael Medoff, Chava Lea But Esther, Rachel Glatz, Joe Samet, Joe Bernstein, Margot Engel, David Schwartz, Casey Rosenmeyer, Marcia Schiller Silverstein, Avara Chavez, Gary Bandel, Victoria Athis Chana, Rachel Bat Dvora Baruch Ben Penina, Shelby Cabin, Thelma Fisher, Howard Kleinberg, Elliot Kleinberg, Hannah Zagel, Naomi Kirstein, Lori Chazen Hurwitz, Michael Zoll, Ben Evans, Toby Koritsky, Tammy Shestak-Lipsky, Claire Weiss, Linda Freilich, Marjorie Frankel, Alex Sanchez, Shachar Karen. To those names, we had any, once again, that you are thinking of at this time and would like to share with us on our text on our YouTube call. Again, Mishaberach, if you'd like to also sing along and pray along with us, 253.
Avraham, Yitzchak, veYaakov. Mi sheberach imoteinu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, veRachel. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, then bless us as well. Bless us with the power of your healing. Bless us with the power of your word. May our hearts be filled with understanding and strengthened by the power of your love. Bless us with the vision of tomorrow. Help us to reach out to those in pain. May the warmth of friendship ease our sorrow. Give us courage, give us faith, show us the way. Mi sheberach avoteinu, Avraham, Yitzchak, veYaakov. Mi sheberach imoteinu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, veRachel. Mi sheberach avoteinu, Mi sheberach imoteinu. Hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, then bless us as well.
We'll continue now with Aleinu. That can be found on page 282. Again, if you're following along in your Siddur, and if you wish to stand, this would be the time for us to stand. Again, Aleinu 282.
Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, lateit gedula liotze breshit, shelo asanu kegoyei aratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamona, v'anachnu koreim, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
We transition now to Kaddish Yatom, to Mourner's Kaddish. We are, of course, thinking about those in the period of Shloshim, the immediate 30-day mourning period, and the yortzites that occur for us at Congregation B'nai Israel. Once again, I'm going to share these names, but if there's a name that you would like to add please add their names on our YouTube scrolling chat here, if you would like. In the period of Shloshim, we're thinking of Barbara Goldstein, Norman Fallett, Sheila Israel, Bert Marcus, and Marcia Fisher. And our yortzites that occur for us on this Shabbat: Stanley Butwin, Wallace Claire Field, Arthur Cohen, Sophie Davidson, Kenneth Dean, Phyllis Feldbaum, Manya Futerman, Emmanuel Golden, Jerome Gottlieb, William Gross, Minnie Kaplan, May Kogan, Albert Marin, Helen Marinwitzer, Joan Nissen, Eileen Portnoy, Miriam Rubin, Jose Schwartzwald, Barney Seamus, Jacob Siegel, Lonnie Smith, Florence Spinnard, Jeffrey Statler. Once again, to those names, we had any name that you would like to add at this time. And Mourner's Kaddish can be found on page 294. If you are in the prayer books once again, and if you would like to stand, together we will stand to recite Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'kadash shmei Rabbah, Balma divrach chirutei ve'amlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, bagala v'zman kariv ve'imru, Amen. יהא שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולמי עולמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי דקודשה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום, Alenu v'al kol Yisrael ve'imru, Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, as together we say Amen.
Amen.
We're going to conclude, or we're going to close today, right, Ken or David, with a little Oseh Shalom?
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
I feel great because I picked it.
Well, then it seemed like that on the list because that's what you wanted to do. So I'm just verifying. You still you're in that sort of Oseh Shalomi mood, are you?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Sounds great. I'm looking forward to it.
Oseh shalom, shalom b'roma, v'yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom, shalom b'roma, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. V'yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Amen. Amen. Oseh shalom, shalom b'roma, v'yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen.
Before we go, we obviously want to thank so many people who make this happen with all of the stuff streaming and all the stuff working. We want to thank so much to our marketing team who sets up the links and gets everyone connected and makes the YouTube work and makes all this stuff. So thank you so much to all of them, of course, to entire staff who we hope you notice are working tirelessly to bring something that's normally warm and huggy and loving, like our synagogue, into this physical distancing. So we hope that you can feel the virtual hugs, and we are all thinking of you, and we love you, and we miss you, and obviously we hope that that you are safe. Adonai oz lamo yiten, Adonai v'rechet amo v'shalom. May God give strength unto our people. Continue to bless us with hope and strength and love and peace, and like I said, lots of health and Shabbat
if I
shalom,
may,
everybody. Yes.
If I may, I would just like to also give a very huge thank you to Dr. Alan Mason, who recorded all of this accompaniment that I was able to sing to. He recorded earlier this week, and it's just with the magic of being able to practice and rehearse through virtual reality that we were able to put it all together. So a lot of this wouldn't have happened without Dr. Alan Mason. So my heart, thank you to you. And
yeah. Amazing. I didn't see him there, so I was wondering where he was. Is he? I didn't see him, so that's nice. Yes, a big thank you to him as well for the beautiful music, along with our cantor. Woohoo! Yay, cantor!
And you, Rabbi Keller, of course.
Oh, not because of my singing.
No, I didn't say that.
Oh, great. Okay, that's clear. All right. Okay, Shabbat shalom, everybody. Bye. Bye. See you tomorrow, 9 o'clock. Torah study.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.